Okay, so we're going to look at the spinal wave. Now, there's a few different ways we can do these spinal waves, but first I just want to have a little chat about why we do them. The spinal wave movements are all about creating a better internal map or a neural map of what your spine is and how it can move. Typically, when we have a look at the daily pain people may experience, so neck pain is really common, low back pain is extremely common for people. When this is the case, generally there's an area of the spine that's quite rigid, quite stiff, and this will show up across all your movement patterns. And then you have these other areas that get overused a lot without you really understanding or knowing that you're doing it. Spending time doing spinal waves, we're improving your connection to yourself, being able to feel and sense different areas of your spine rather than it just being this one big block, and then improving the dexterity in which it moves. So when we're looking at these spinal waves, we're not looking for a large range of motion, but we're looking for a small degree of movement throughout the entire structure. So we're going to begin with the simplest wave, which is the head leading spinal wave. Begin with your feet just shoulder width apart. We're going to use a wall for a bit of feedback, which can be really helpful in the beginning. I'm going to stand shoulder width apart with my back against the wall, starting with my head touching, and then I'm going to find the next vertebrae down. So from the back of my head, I'm trying to find that first vertebrae to make contact with the wall, and then continue to roll down to the next one. As one vertebrae goes on, the one above comes off. So we're only leaving a little slither touching the wall. And slowly rolling down through the mid-back, beginning into the lower back. My pelvis at the moment is currently tucked under because I'm trying to flex into the lumbar spine. Then I'll start to lean forward, the butt will press off the wall, and the head leans back to start again. Neck, all the way down through thoracic spine, lumbar spine, pushing off the tailbone, starting again. So you want to find this nice fluid motion that doesn't really have a start or an end. Take your time. As you're doing this, you're trying to picture your spine, and you can, use real anatomically correct imaging, or you can think of something a lot more fluid like water, or a ribbon moving, or anything that's kind of flowing, but you want to start to map what your skeleton looks like and how it can move. So I would recommend starting with that back to wall head leading spinal wave like that for at least 2 to 3 minutes at a time, so you have long enough to really feel the movement. Couple of common things we might see when people begin this is they'll roll their whole back to the wall and then get stuck here with a flat spine again. So remember to try and keep curved, so as soon as my neck's on, my head's already pulling off. The head will continue to pull this way away from the wall as the next vertebrae rolls on. Okay, so we'll do a couple of minutes with our back on the wall, then spin round and do exactly the same but facing the wall. So now my nose touches my chin, chest, rib cage, rolling all the way down to the knees. And we will do the same thing, a couple of minutes facing the wall. Then I want to have a look at just the motion that the head's doing. So I'll stand side on for you. I'm going to try and keep from the shoulders down relatively still and just move the head through this circle. So with this wave being called the head leading spinal wave, my head's going to initiate with this motion, diving down, lifting up, tucking in, and then the rest of the spine follows. So this is our head leading spinal wave. Do 3 minutes with your back to the wall, 3 minutes with your front to the wall, a minute of the head only, and then just a couple of minutes of freestanding without any assistance from the wall, trying to put it all together. So just standing and moving through this wave. If you're feeling like one area of your back is quite compressed or taking a lot of load, try to make the amplitude of the wave smaller. So you may work with more a wave that is this size, and you're still trying to map and feel those small areas and connect to the spots that maybe you haven't thought about before. Once you've spent a bit of time learning the head leading spinal wave, we want to do exactly the same in reverse and start learning the hip leading spinal wave. So everything we learned to do the head leading spinal wave, we now flip. We're going to start with the back to the wall still, but this time we begin on the butt and roll up through the lower back, mid back, same thing, back to the wall for a few minutes. Front to the wall, I begin on the knees, the quads, the hips, belly, ribs, chest, chin, nose. Hip leading spinal wave, hips on their own, moving through this circle, tucking under into posterior tilt, standing tall at the top, anterior tilt, tuck under. So you're creating this nice circular motion with the pelvis, and then once you're more familiar with the motion of the hips, you can start to let the rest of the spine join back in.